talk about. We'll just keep talking. We'll just keep talking. Just keep talking. Talking. For so long. Ow, we're babbling on. We're babbling on.
Is it okay if I take my pills while we record?
Yeah, please. I was hoping you would.
Yeah.
Take your pills.
Taking them.
Are we recording? I always convince myself we're not recording, and we always are.
Red means recording.
Yeah, do you see red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, these are thin crackers.
Are they thinner than you remembered?
Yeah.
them? Isa's taking crackers because she is taking Oxycontin because of her knee surgery recovery that we're recording during. We've just finished watching second half of Pirates of the Caribbean.
It was
The Curse
amazing.
of the Black Pearl. It was amazing. Then we got locked in your room because the door handle fell off. And now we're going to try and cover...
I have a headache.
You have a headache. And somehow we're still sitting down to cover the rest of Keira Knightley's career.
Because she's that goddamn important to me.
It matters. I mean, like, I don't think we need to stick to the rigidity of following the plot of Pirates. In the back half, it's mostly battling and sword fighting anyway.
It is. And I think that for those who haven't seen Pirates, I think we've given a really good preview and incentive to get on Apple TV Plus and rent it for $3.99.
Or if you have a Disney Plus subscription, they are available there. It is a Disney property.
Oh, that's right. We just didn't have any.
So we rented. There are a few things to mention in the back half of the film. Advil is jingling. I just wanted to say, like, when the one pirate, she's walking the plank and he's like, too long! That's my mom's favorite line. She wears a red jacket that reminds me of Carrie Bradshaw's outfit in one scene.
My favorite scene in the second part is the rum scene where Keira deftly pretends to be intoxicated and tricks Johnny into falling asleep and getting drunk.
Yeah, that's heaven, and she's hot as she does it. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if she, like, had ever had a drink before, because she's 17 again filming that. Like, if she just
maybe
knew.
no.
Yeah, maybe not. Another important moment is I wrote them down in my notes as Wood Eye and Scraggles. You know, our two pirate friends. Mm-hmm. They dress up as women to trick the Royal British Navy at the end. That's just kind of heaven.
Yeah, and I mean, in general, as we were watching, all of us were remarking on how complex the ending plot kind of becomes.
Complex to the point of, like, wait, what is happening?
But so good because we're all a little confused, and then when Will finally cuts his hand, and you can see it all coming together, you see the final puzzle without quite understanding the pieces, which I love.
I love it. And then, of course, the most important part of the back half, which is, whoosh, if you like pain, try wearing a corset. That's if you like pain, try wearing a corset.
Keira fights.
Kira's fight. Keira steps up and does some kicks and fights and stabs. And she really, like, has this amazing arc into just being a full-on pirate by the end.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at the end...
we get a proclamation of love.
Well, she uses her matrimonial status twice to get what she wants. First by, as a wedding present to get Commodore Norrington to go rescue Will. And then at the end, when Jack is about to get hung, she says, I can't breathe, and faints to distract. Mm-hmm. And we love how she uses her position to get her wants.
She's smart. She's savvy. She wants her man with the feather hat.
Of course she does. Oh, we forgot to mention this, too. I'm telling the story!
Wait, when does that happen again?
That's when scraggly hair and wooden eye are telling Will about bootstraps.
Bootstraps.
Yeah.
The way that Wood Eye kind of copies and repeats a lot reminds me of like when it's the morning and I haven't quite woken up and I kind of can only repeat what other people say.
When I don't know what to do, I just repeat
back
to people what they've said.
It's a great tactic.
So, final plot beats before we get into the just broader context is they save Jack and Jack escapes onto the Black Pearl. Will and Elizabeth kiss and she goes, the dad is like, are you sure you want to be with him? He's a blacksmith after all. And she goes, no, he's a pirate. And then they kiss and the dad, who's a gay guy, faggot, and wiggles his hands all around throughout the back half of the movie, watches. And then Jack is on the boat, his boat, looking out at the open sea, looking at his compass.
He's happier than we've seen him the entire movie.
Fondling the steering wheel, which suddenly looks like a bunch of nipples, and then he goes, and really bad eggs. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho! And then it ends. Oh, it's perfect!
And then it goes into listen to the soundtrack.
Wow, it's the perfect movie.
Yeah, especially the way you just kind of put Ariana in there.
I put Ari in, and I also kind of breezed through the back half, but I just feel like we have other things we need to get to.
Yeah, because as we were watching, I think that most of what I was thinking of was just, the context and the stories that happened after and how this catapulted her.
Yeah.
And what it did to you and I.
I know,
frankly.
So tell me about your queer awakening as it pertains to this film.
I think that I obviously didn't recognize it as a queer awakening at the time, but I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The three of them together, Jack Sparrow, Elizabeth Swann, and William Turner, is such, like, they spoke to my sexuality. Yeah. And still do.
Of course they speak.
To see her be, both to, like, see her be feminine and also very, like, sure of herself and all of that. But then, like, I had a fascination with Jack Sparrow that doesn't quite translate, I think, the same way that the way you're articulating about Elizabeth Swann with, like your
in
identity.
A trans way, like thinking like I really want to be Elizabeth Swann.
But I think I do, like, as someone who doesn't identify as trans, but, like, certainly wants to be Jack Sparrow. Like, we can debate what that means for my identity and all of that.
And you exist on the spectrum.
Of course. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
But I think that I mean, I was him for Halloween as a child. If that tells you anything.
Oh my god, I just remembered something.
What?
The kid from our college.
Careful.
I won't say any names, and I don't want to shame anyone, but there was a student from the college we went to who walked around school every day dressed as Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot about that. And I get it.
And I get it too. And their name was another Johnny Depp character that we won't divulge.
Sure.
They had chosen to name themselves one Johnny character and dress as another every day.
And good for them.
In retrospect, they were the ones who had the last laugh.
They did.
Like, we needed to respect.
And we're only, following up now.
If you're out there,
find us. Babble on with us.
Babble.
Yeah, so I think that... And then, obviously, my fascination with Keira as a crush and obsession was definitely rooted in sexuality. Like, I was obsessed with every film that she was in. Yeah. And almost all the films she was in happened to be period pieces where she was, like... Corseted and, like, looking fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, stunning.
She's
such a natural beauty. It's just, but then, like, those period piece things just heighten it even more. And
I think that because when she's in a period piece, she's, like... She was so eloquent and, like, she seemed smart. Yeah. Right? If we're equating...
She's bookish. I mean, the same way that Emma Watson and Keira Knightley are both... Hermione and Elizabeth Swann, then these real-life actresses are both, like, really well-read and intelligent, like, smart, thoughtful, inquisitive, like... curious people, and
yes.
have definitely cultivated that image too, in the same way that like someone like Natalie Portman has with like her Harvard degree. Like these are like the academic actresses, and it's funny that she played Natalie's double.
So, and then let me just I saw the photo of her at the Pirates of the Caribbean premiere when I was young.
Let's see.
And it's shocking.
I haven't seen this.
And it's unbelievable.
Oh my God, she's wearing a deeply high crop so that her full six-pack is showing.
Six-pack.
That's what she wore to the premiere.
Yes, and but it has a train behind it. It's white. It's like...
Wait, let me see
boat neck, and then she's wearing low-rise jeans and heels.
There's a train behind it?
It's like a little bow, I
God,
think.
she is so sexy. No one else could pull that off.
Yeah, she's been deep in my psyche for a very long time, but so has Jack Sparrow. And I think that Jack's quirkiness...
Yeah.
Right, like all of us, like weird theater kids and like weird gay theater kids.
We wanted to do that.
That was like... oh, that's who I am.
Well, you were saying before, too, how you were like, this movie made you realize you wanted to be an actor.
It did.
And I kind of feel the same way. In the same way that Harry Potter, like, I want to be in those, like, grand epic things where you're, like, there's water splashing and you're wearing a period costume and you're fighting swords and you're getting, in Jack Sparrow's case, to make these crazy, kooky character choices. Like, I totally agree. And it's important to note that this is the first of 5 Pirates of the Caribbean films.
And I'll be honest, I've only seen the 3.
You haven't seen 4 and 5 ever?
No.
I saw them for the first time last year, but
because I don't count them as canon.
They're not, because Elizabeth and Will
They're
are
gone.
Not in. Although they show up in the 5th one. No, after the credits, I randomly was in LA and like had strep throat and watched all 5 of them. And for some reason, watched through the credits of the 5th one. There's like, you know how sometimes in movies there's like an after credits scene? After the credits of the 5th one, there's like a scene with, I forgot exactly what happens. I think they like run to each other in a field and then they're like laying in bed. Like, it's just completely random. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And if you're listening to this and you have lost all credibility because I haven't seen the rest of them, I get it. But
you had seen the sequels a lot more than I had, because I didn't see the sequels that much.
You mean Dead Man's Chest and World's End?
Yeah.
I have seen them a considerable
Dead Man's Chest I've seen considerable amount. And then at World's End, she becomes the pirate king by the end of it. And it's heaven. And like, even though it's like way too long and convoluted, it is kind of heaven.
Yeah.
After that, Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom were like, we don't want to keep doing this. And they left, which I think is fair. Especially because they wrapped up their storyline in the end in a pretty good way. And
your sexual journey and sexuality journey with pirates?
This is
interesting. And
Keira specifically. Because I was deeply closeted to myself even through high school, for sure. Like, I was lying to myself. And, like, I've recently been thinking about this, actually, in a way of, like, I feel like I had dismissed my past and being closeted as like, oh, whatever. Like, everyone was closeted. We're all gay. It all took us forever to come out. And now we're out and it's fine. And I kind of had this realization the other day, like, oh, I actually think that fucked me up in a deeper way than I realized. Because I was thinking about, like, just some of my behavior in high school. I was just realizing the shame. Do you hear, like, someone singing?
Yeah. Well, it might be my upstairs neighbors.
Good. I hope that they get a big break from someone record executive hearing them on this podcast. But yeah, I wasn't like consciously like, oh, I'm in love with Orlando Bloom or I'm in love with Johnny Depp. And I don't really consider either of them I think they're both so sexy and hot, but neither are like my number one crushes. Like, for me, that's more like Daniel Craig in Casino Royale. Or like Channing Tatum or something.
Sure.
But by the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 1 and into the sequels, Will is getting really hot, especially when he gets a little moodier and less, like, friendly. And then Jack, like, in the right mood, yeah. But Keira, like, as an adult, I wasn't thinking this as a kid, really, but as an adult, recently, I'm kind of retroactively wondering, like, oh, like, I want to be Keira Knightley so badly, and I'm sure lots of people who aren't trans want that, but, like, I do think there's a sort of trans awakening tied to that, and, like, that is, like, also gives me a lot of angst, if I'm real, of, like, I'm not gonna be Keira Knightley ever.
Yeah.
But, maybe I can be my version of that. I don't know. Maybe I already am my version of that. But
I think that you're so deeply a version of her.
Thank you. You and
I see
that
her...
guy from Grindr.
Yeah.
I'll have to bleep that out.
It's... Yeah, thinking about childhood selves and looking at these characters, and... Because I also wasn't out to either... to anybody, including myself in high school. And to see... I think something that... I hated Jack and Kira's love story because it scared me. There was something about it that felt sinister and that felt like not... And I think that maybe it was because he's such a queer character.
Yeah.
It almost didn't feel like hetero enough. I don't know. Like...
Wow. Like, it scared you in the sense of, like, it could somehow, like, out you or, like...
No, not at all. I think I just, like, didn't like them together. I was like... No, go back with your, like,
well, it
cute,
was
hot,
sinister,
like...
and it was outside of, like, conventional, but she kisses him at the end of Dead Man's Chest in order to chain him to a boat so that the Kraken can eat him.
I know.
Which we're going to end up having to cover the whole franchise.
We're going to have to watch them all. Yeah. Anyways, I think, like, there's...
They all get kind of dark and sinister in that one.
Yes, and there is so much in Jack Sparrow that is what I wanted to be. Especially as a kid.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a huge formative movie in terms of... I mean, for me, I think just, more about, like, wanting to be an actor and, like, my love of movies really is tied to this as one of the foundational films. And she is a huge part of that, and just, like, looking to her as this, like, amazing, intelligent artist and I've just always been so in awe of her.
Me too.
I worship her, and, like, I'm sure she wouldn't like to hear that. She wants to be seen as a person, but, like, I, like, can't help but idolize her because I just think she's so amazing, and she is really talented. And her film, so she said in this interview I was listening that she, like, had no idea what she was doing during these movies. She was 17, and, like, she hadn't really, like, dug into figuring out the trade of acting or the craft of acting. And in subsequent movies, we're going to see that she started to figure... I mean, I think she's great in these. I have no notes, but she describes that she feels like she gets to a more comfortable place with being comfortable doing what is asked of her on camera in later films. But we should know 2003, same year as Pirates of the Caribbean, is also Love Actually.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's Love Actually, Pirates,
Thank you.
and it's a third movie
she was
that
working.
same year.
Oh, God.
Is it Bendit? Like Beckham also that year? But yeah, so Love Actually, are you tied to that
I
one?
am deeply tied to Love Actually.
That one's, I mean, her storyline in that is weird as fuck.
Yeah, and she's not a big part of it, but
No.
that was the reason my mom was like, we should watch Love Actually. Oh, it has Keira Knightley in it, you'll like it. And I said, okay.
I came to Love Actually in college. Like,
really?
I didn't start watching it till college, but then I became obsessed with it. I still watch it every year. It's a great Christmas movie. Her storyline in it is she's getting married, and this other guy who's like the groom's best friend films the whole thing, but only films her. Is in love with her in a super creepy, and then isn't able to communicate it. No. And just is mean to her. But then at the best part of the movie, he stands outside her door and gives her cue cards to read. And he's like, say it's Christmas carolers. Say it's carol singers. Say it's carol singers, yeah. And then from there, I feel like, is when she jumped into the period, like, the Duchess? The next, I think, is Atonement. When was Pride and Prejudice? Pride and Prejudice, I don't think comes... Oh, no, yeah, you're right. It is Pride and Prejudice next. That's 2005, directed by Joe Wright in his film debut. He cast her because he felt she had a tomboyish nature. she had grown up very familiar with the book Pride and Prejudice, and she said in this interview she would, like, play dolls, and, like, the dolls would be the characters. So she was, like, really familiar with this story. And so she's 20 years old when she
she's
films
so young.
that, and she gets nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars.
That's right.
Yeah, making her the third youngest person ever nominated for Best Actress.
Does she get nominated again?
She has one other, not for Atonement. She was expected to be nominated for Atonement, and she was nominated for the BAFTA, which is like the British Oscars. Yeah. But she wasn't nominated, although it was, I believe, nominated for Best Picture. But she does have one other Oscar nomination, which is for The Imitation Game in Supporting Actress, which I saw in theaters, haven't seen since. I remember thinking she was really good. I remember liking that movie a lot.
I liked it.
Yeah, but I kind of forget. I don't think about it. Yeah, it's about like coding in World War II.
It's about isn't it about the gay guy? Isn't he gay? Yeah.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch plays like a gay guy, Alan Turing, who's like
who creates like the first computers.
Yeah, he like creates computers, and he's gay. And anyway, she's fabulous in that. But Pride and Prejudice
was
care to share?
I didn't share the literary obsession with Jane Austen.
I haven't read Pride and Prejudice. I haven't read any Jane Austen.
But I was obsessed enough with her that I watched it.
Yeah.
And my mother, deeply interested in Pride and Prejudice. So we all watched it.
I actually don't know if I've seen it all the way through, which makes me a sinner to be trying to talk Keira right now.
So
but I've seen parts of it, and I know...
do that tonight.
She's Carey Mulligan. I know it's Rosamund Pike. Yes. I know it's the guy, Matthew McFadden from Succession.
Yes. And
it's the dolls.
It's like them in the rain talking about love. I remember her being just really raw and, like, different.
Yeah.
I guess tomboy. Tomboy is such like a fucked...
It's such a fucked word.
But that's exactly what it is, right? Like, I was obsessed with this woman who was so... beautiful in ways that like I could never be, but also was relatable because she was like wielding swords and
like going
against her
tropes.
family.
I just thought what was so interesting in this interview was how she was saying, like, because she was still feeling really like insecure as an actress, but with this one it was like she had already done all the preparation work, is how she describes it, because she had been doing like improvs with these characters her whole life as a kid playing, and so she was like already knew the character inside and out. It was the perfect role. Like, she already knew. She had been preparing for this her whole life, and so it just, like, was a natural fit, but she felt like she just got lucky in that regard, which I think she's always been great. I'll say it again, but those are her words.
She's fantastic. She's so present.
Yeah.
She's so present.
And she's just amazing to watch. I want to just point out the two younger people nominated for Best Actress are Quivanjane Wallace for Beasts of the Southern Wild and Keisha Castle-Hughes for The Whale Rider. And then...
Oh my god, Whale Rider. Yeah. Did you watch that?
I can't remember.
I watched that when I was a kid, and I remember being awestruck by it.
Yeah.
Because it takes place in New Zealand, I think.
Yeah, I think so. New Zealand cinema is on another level. Have you seen The Piano?
No.
I watched The Piano for the first time, and, like, I need to do... like a lot of talking about that movie.
The Kiwis are funny.
The Kiwis are funny. Lord is
of course.
Like, New Zealand is where it's at. I mean, drove around there and had like a life-changing experience.
Multiple times.
Road trips there.
If anyone wants to...
Wait, can we do that sometime?
Let's talk about my time in Antarctica sometime.
We should. I mean, well, one thing I want to say is I want to come on a road trip through New Zealand next time you go. And you spent significant time in Antarctica. Do you want to quickly just like... I mean, I guess that's like too big to get into.
No, I don't think that we need to get into it, but I do think that it's important to note that in Antarctica at McMurdo Station where I worked, they have VHSs and DVDs covering the walls, and I do remember at one point I was looking for a different DVD, and I saw that they did have the Pirates DVD, and I felt safe.
Oh my god.
Knowing that
What were you looking for?
A copy of The Nutcracker? Why do you ask?
Oh, because you okay, I'm just gonna blow your load for you.
I haven't blown a load in days, so you might as well.
Isa is the most incredible person and creative and dancer, and was working in this like laboratory in Antarctica, science lab.
A dish pit.
As a dishwasher.
Washing dishes.
And then directed, choreographed, conceived, and put on this like handmade, like all using like found items around the lab for costumes and props production of the Nutcracker.
Alongside some wonderful collaborators. But yes, it was wonderful, but Pirates is down there. Mm-hmm. Thank God.
So Keira stretches to all
corners.
Keira
stretches to every continent.
So, okay, Pride and Prejudice, Heaven, like, obviously I need to do more work. I did read Wuthering Heights last summer, which isn't the same, but, like, sort of similar genre? Vibe. So, just to try and defend myself a little bit. Then Dead Man's Chest at World's End, like, too big of a conversation to really dig into the depths. But there's a whole other part to this franchise. Then we get to Atonement. Also Joe Wright, same director as Pride and Prejudice.
Oh.
He wanted to cast her as the middle sister, I guess. Are there 3 sisters?
Saoirse Ronan is
Saoirse Ronan is the younger. And then I think... But she wanted to be the character that she is, and she advocated for that role. And then she wears a green dress that is historic.
That is iconic.
Yeah.
My mom would only take me to watch Atonement in theaters because it was R, if I promised to discuss what I took away from the film afterwards.
Okay, so tell me what you discussed after.
I don't think we ever did because we left and I was like, just shocked from how incredible she was and the sex scenes and the war of it all. Like, it's a sad movie.
It's really sad. I mean, it's been so long. I remember that she is fucking James McAvoy.
Yes, and he, like, goes away to war because he's framed.
Saoirse Ronan, like, has a crush on him. Is that right?
No, Saoirse has a crush on Benedict Cumberbatch, I think. And then Benedict, like, I think might sexually assault her. But then she says...
Assault Saoirse?
Yeah, and then I think Saoirse blames it on James McAvoy. So he goes away, and he's wrongly accused.
Oh, see, I remembered it being like Saoirse had a crush on James McAvoy, and then he hooks up with Keira, and Saoirse's jealous and so says that he raped her.
Oh my god, maybe that is true. I don't remember.
What's that noise?
It's someone rolling something in our little alleyway.
This podcast is about capturing a slice of life of New York City, by the way, too. So, like, that's all good.
You are right now in Hamilton Heights, New
Which
York
I don't
City.
get to very often. I'm uptown.
We brought her uptown.
We're above 140th Street.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. It's quiet uptown. It's actually not that quiet.
Well.
There's a dumpster rolling around.
Will be once you leave.
Will be.
It will be because I'll be asleep with my drugs.
The oxy's kicking in.
Yeah.
So Atonement is something that we must atone for not giving her an actress nom.
It's insane.
It was like a surprise to everyone, but in this interview, not to keep going back to it constantly, but she talks about how she was so relieved she didn't get the Oscar nom because she did get the BAFTA, and she was having panic attacks at this point about like the paparazzi, Keira. And this is around when she takes a year off to travel and leave behind acting to like get away from the paparazzi who were being really awful to her. Yeah. And she said she had to go to hypnotherapy just to be able to attend the BAFTAs without having a panic attack. So when she doesn't get the Oscar nom, she's relieved that she doesn't have to go. So fuck the paparazzi.
Sick what this industry does to people.
I know, like fuck them.
But correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Keira was able to stay slightly out of mainstream. And is it because she was coming into stardom before social media was such a big thing? Like,
I think
she was so famous, but
really consciously, like, she was being harassed and like people were calling her awful things on the streets, and like that was happening, and she was talking about this in the interview. But I think she like made a really conscious effort to just like promise herself like, I'm not gonna let them like break me.
Like, how'd she get so incredible?
I don't know.
Keira, did you go to a lot of therapy? Like,
she did. She went to a lot of therapy, and she also said that like she got really lucky with like her family and friends and the people around her. She like, which not like Britney Spears didn't have that, and like it's comparable. And like Amy Winehouse had some sounds like toxic people around her too. Like Keira was lucky to have good people, and so we're happy for her.
I'm so glad.
She starts doing theater. There was supposed to be a King Lear movie with her and Anthony Hopkins that got canceled, which is sad. She starts doing theater on the West End, and that's where she really feels like she gets her footing with like learning the craft of acting and feeling confident in herself. There's a movie called The Duchess. I haven't seen it.
I saw it.
How is it?
I think it was underwhelming. I think I saw the trailer for it and obviously knew that I had to go see it because it was her. And I think that I don't remember anything other than like the wigs. Huge wigs. Tall,
big wigs.
Like French Revolution type dress.
She said in this interview that it was like a sort of Princess Diana type character where she's publicly adored but privately going through hell type thing. Is that accurate?
That sounds about right.
I mean, it sounds interesting to me. I would like to see it. There's a movie called The Edge of Love where she sings.
Oh.
That I'm interested in seeing.
Wait.
Have you seen it?
Is that contemporary? That's like set in New York, right?
I think it might be contemporary.
Yes, I did see that.
How was it?
I think it's excellent.
She's good in contemporary stuff.
She's so good.
Even though it's almost jarring because you're expecting her in period because she really has been so associated with period
But
pieces.
she can be anything and
she can
everything.
do anything. She's chameleonic. I believe that she is like one of the greatest actresses living of our time.
I really agree with you.
I think that.
That's why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, I mean we love her. A Dangerous Method. Have you seen that one? That's where she's working with like the characters of Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud World War One.
Oh.
And I saw this one and I remember it's like she's getting spanked. They're like having sex with her and it's like she's this like mentally ill person and she's doing all this like jaw stuff. Like
what?
It's a David Cronenberg movie and she's like doing crazy shit with her jaw, which is one of the most exceptional jaws on camera ever recorded. And she's
gorgeous.
doing all this like
I've
crazy
never seen it.
like it's a really balls to the wall fucked performance that's like kind of incredible. Although I haven't seen it in forever and I can't really remember it.
Okay.
Seeking a Friend for the End of the World.
Ooh,
did you see that?
Saw that. It's Steve Carell, isn't it?
It's Steve Carell. How is it? I haven't seen that.
I think I saw it on a plane.
Okay.
I think it was good. I think it was fine.
Okay.
I think I saw it because of her.
I mean,
obviously.
Perfect cast. Her and Steve Carell.
I know. Can you believe it?
I know.
My dad looks just like Steve Carell.
My dad looks like Ben Stiller. Looked. He has passed away.
He has.
And you knew him well.
I did. I have a lot of love for him.
I do too. Dad, we love you.
We love you. I drink a Long Island iced tea and think of him every time.
And I will think of him as I sip this beer.
Cheers.
Cheers. Anna Karenina.
Yes.
Her third movie with Joe Wright directing. They've had a fruitful collaboration.
Anna Karenina was long.
Was it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I'm a little guilty in saying I haven't seen a lot of her later films, but whatever.
Really okay.
I still consider myself one of the preeminent scholars. And I have read the first half of the book, Anna Karenina.
Oh, I have not done that.
Just so the first half.
Got me beat there.
It's good, although I was not able to keep going because I got bored.
Because it's so long.
Yeah. But great story. Love triangles, affairs.
Sure.
She plays Anna?
I believe so.
You've seen it, you said?
I think I've either seen it and don't remember it or saw part of it and maybe stopped halfway through.
It's got Aaron Taylor Johnson in it, if memory serves. One of those hot men.
Does he have like a ponytail?
Who we believe to be bisexual. Yeah,
sure.
Pony, and he's dating an older woman. And he was 17 when they started dating, and that's the problem. And now they're married with kids.
Well.
So speaking of 17-year-olds.
Love, I guess, if it's consensual.
I don't know if it was or not, but that's just something to
What year did Anna Karenina come out?
I wish I had it written down.
Sure.
But I don't.
Okay. I'll look it up.
I do have The Imitation Game written down as 2014, which is her second Oscar nom. We touched on this, where she's...
I thought that was more recent. Wow.
No, that was while we were in college. I remember going to see that while we were in college. Her most recent stuff... Oh, I had a few things... Personal biography-wise, she's married to a musician named James Wrighton. They have 2 daughters. They live in London. She's done some a lot of feminist work, speaking out in that regard. I guess according to Wikipedia, she posed topless for Interview magazine on the condition there would be no retouching.
Great.
To stand up against impossible
body standards.
But then
it's still Keira Knightley's perfect breasts.
Right, which is okay. And then she said on Wikipedia, at least, only does nude scenes if they're shot by a woman.
Ooh, all right.
So that's kind of cool.
I like...
Oh, fuck, that
thing is back.
That thing is back.
Well, that thing is back, and maybe this is less important, but something that was a huge part of my childhood was wishing and hoping and checking religiously to see if I could find proof online of Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom being in a relationship. Because I needed that to be true.
Yeah.
And then I don't know.
Did you ever find any?
I think that maybe they were flirting.
Really? What did you find?
I don't remember. I was, 15 and on, like, writing fan mail to Keira Knightley with a pen and paper. But did you not share that, like, growing up? Like, were you seeing people in films and needing that love story to, like, continue off screen?
Is that something I needed? I don't know if we share that one, honestly. I think I was a little like, yeah, that's the film. Like,
you had an understanding of fiction versus reality.
I don't know. Huge. I think I just like, yeah, I don't know. I think it is jarring for me to find out that, like, Elizabeth Swann is dating someone else besides Will Turner and vice versa. And, like, it was jarring to me when Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry got together. And it's, like, jarring to me when I find out Keira Knightley's with this guy. But I think it's less about, like, oh, but Elizabeth and Will are supposed to be together. And it's more about, like, wait, what? Like, she has a boyfriend? Like, I thought she was my sister in Singledom. Or she was, like, partnered off with Will. Like,
yeah.
I don't quite know. You know what I mean?
Sure, I don't know what's going on for me either. It must have something to do with my parents, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we both have come from divorce.
Yes, which we
and
can
then
cover.
Some, which is, I'm happy to cover. I mean, divorce is, I know, like the back of my hand.
Has made us better.
Divorced girls do it better.
Divorced girls do it better.
Divorced girls do it. Now, what the fuck? Are they dragging a
body?
A body back and forth? Can you... Oh, I don't hear it anymore. Just to quickly get through the rest of her filmography, just so we can tie a bow on that. Colette, did you ever see that?
I wanted to, because I think I read the synopsis and watched the trailer, but I did not see it.
I actually did see this one, so I will take a point.
Great, take a point.
On the chalkboard. I saw this one because I saw it at a press screening back when I worked at Out magazine and was potentially going to be interviewing her or someone from the movie. It didn't end up happening. It didn't end up happening, I know. But, yeah, it was really good. She plays like an author, and it's a period piece who's like kind of having a sexual feminist awakening. Does she play Colette? Yeah, an author. Are you familiar with the author?
Isn't it about like she wrote all these books, but then her husband took the credit?
That might be right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Hilton and I used to interview celebrities.
Yeah, Isa used to come. We used to go to red... I mean, we did it together.
I filmed with my skills as a film.
We would go to red carpets, and there was no budget at Out, and so I would have to, like, buy a camera and then ask friends, so, like, are you free to come to the red carpet premiere of Loving? Or
so
like,
I would leave my shift at Friedman's on 34th Street and run to the premiere of Loving.
Yeah, so we talked to a lot of people, like...
You talked to a ton. I remember talking to Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, yeah, famously. We did Neil Patrick Harris that one day at, like, the workout thing.
The workout, yeah.
And we did Ruth Negga. We did Nick Kroll. We did Joel Edgerton.
It was so fun.
I feel like there were some others we did,
But imagine if we did... Oh, my God.
Can you imagine?
It's going to happen someday. I'm going to put that out into the universe.
I feel that it will. I mean, it would be amazing if one day, like, she's on this podcast.
Keira.
We
actually are quite interested. We're cool people.
We're cool. And, like, I know
incredible.
that we've said some things that may sound, like, objectify-y, but that we just love you, and we think you're way more than your looks. Yeah. I haven't seen The Nutcracker in the Four Realms. I hear it's a horrible flop.
Oh, I heard it was awful. I didn't see it. And I am a Nutcracker aficionado.
You're a nutcrack.
I am a cracker.
Her last big one, I feel like, was The Boston Strangler, which I guess got some awards.
It's about Boston, and I haven't seen it.
I know I don't know what she plays, like a journalist or a detective or something, but there's a movie called Boston Strangler that is about the Boston Strangler. Which, is that a thing? Do you know about that? I think there's a famous serial killer, I'm guessing, named Boston Strangler.
There's a lot of fucked up people in Boston.
If he's a serial killer, what's the worst that could happen to a girl who's already hurt? That's basically her,
Is she kind of not working anymore? Like, has she kind of faded out, or is she still doing stuff?
Boston Strangler was pretty recent.
Okay.
I think she's still doing stuff. I think she's just... I mean, she has a daughter now. She has 2 kids.
2 kids, you said.
She has 2 kids, and...
I hope she's, like, taking... I hope she's doing...
I hope she does a lot more acting work. I think she's just, like, kind of being a little more selective with her projects. She doesn't
Good for her.
Yeah.
I'm 100%.
Because she was... I mean, in those early years... She
working,
basically churned out a ton of classics in her teens and early 20s. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable, and I feel like she's not someone who is... She's not on the lips of everyone around us, you know?
The name on everybody's lips is gonna be Keira. She's not on everyone's lips, but we're on her lips.
And she's in my heart.
I want to kiss her. Or just, like, say hi and be chill.
I would do both of those things.
Yeah.
If she initiated.
Yeah, I would want her to initiate.
I would so genuinely like to have a conversation with her. And I think that she, like, I would love to act alongside her.
Yeah.
I think a dream
I would love to
after seeing Pride and Prejudice was to, like, play her sister.
I would love to play her sister more than anything.
Yeah. Imagine you and her and me all in an adaptation of Little Women.
Oh, who would the 4th be?
Great question. Orlando Bloom.
What would you say to her? What would you ask her if, like, you could sit down and talk to her? Like, what would you want to talk about? Just, like, her movies, or?
I don't know. I think that I might ask her about, like, what Bend It Like when filming Bend It Like Beckham, like, did she get any shit for, like, did people think she was gay, or, like, did she ever get any, like, gay pushback?
Yeah, gay pushback.
And, like, what was the experience of that?
Yeah, that's a good one. I also, like, I don't know how I would exactly phrase this as a question to her, but, like, I am curious just to understand the experience of someone who, like, it doesn't appear went through an awkward phase, just, like, from, like, adolescence has been, like, classically like, among the most stunning people ever. And, like, those fucked up lists that I truly, I was reading her Wikipedia and I was like, holy shit, these are the most actually disgusting, fucked up things ever. But there's, like, the Maxim Hot 100, or, like, the hot, sexiest women in the world. Like, those lists are so fucked, and obviously, but she was, like, on all those, and, like, what's it like to be, like, receiving that kind of response from, like, as early as you can remember? Like, yeah. I would just be curious. I'm sure there's such a dark side to that.
Totally.
While also it being heaven in ways, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, I think that we should all have a glass of wine together.
She loves wine. She has
so, yeah, what's her wine blog?
I forgot what it's called, but I'll
look it up tonight with all my spare time.
Send it to you, yeah. Closing thoughts on Keira. Closing thoughts on Keira.
I mean, I, first of all, respect her as an actress.
Yeah.
So much. Especially after rewatching Pirates. I've seen it so many times.
She's really good. And just rewatching it now, I'm kind of like, Johnny is obviously, like, is Johnny, and you kind of can't compete with that, but she's kind of the best one in it.
And she's forced to play the straight man, perspective, right? Yeah. Like, she's not kooky, but
she's the straight man, but she's also, like, an interesting...
Exactly. She does it with a really beautiful, subtle, like, touch and humanity, and she's cool. She's
really cool. She's really good. I respect her so much as an actor, and also just as a person.
Yeah. I respect her from the point of view that she had to carry a career from a very young age. And then the films that she chose to do going forward, I felt represented who she was, like, trying, you know, like...
Yeah, she picked good projects that, like, felt like they represented, like, her intelligence and, like, the fact that she's so well read and, like, cares.
Or just, like, would make her look good because she knows what her strengths are and, like, what she likes.
Yeah.
Her accent is Superb.
It's superb.
Her best outfit of the movie, what would you think?
Oh, honestly, I think my favorite is low-key. She wears this red jacket with, like, pants when she's, like, trapped in the boat and then goes and, like, has that fight scene. And it reminds me a lot of one of my favorite looks of Carrie Bradshaw's, which I do want to check in on who you are in the 8 if you're able to answer that for me. Are you? Do you know any of the 8?
No.
You're low-key, like, there's a Mirandan quality
I thought, wait,
to
there
you.
are 8?
Well, there's Sex and the City and there's Girls.
And they're known as the 8?
No, I made that.
Oh,
well,
okay.
my friend made that up.
I'm deeply out of pop culture references.
So I'm gonna assign you Miranda, but like, who are you in terms of Keira Knightley roles? If you had to pick a Keira Knightley,
oh my god, I think that I have some of.
we both have Elizabeth.
We both have
Like,
some Elizabeth.
let's-
I have some Pride and God.
I have some Pride and Prejudice too. Oh, what's the girl's name?
Is it Elizabeth?
It might be.
Oh yeah.
We both
Cancel
have
me
the
for
Pride.
it.
We both have Prida.
And then I have.
Prejudice.
We didn't touch on this film, and I also have never seen it.
Okay.
But she did a film called Bounty Hunter,
Oh.
where she played a bounty hunter.
And you think you have
And I
some
think
of that?
I have some of that inside of me, Hilton.
I think I haven't seen Nutcracker in the Four Realms, but she plays realms. She plays like
plays a sugar plum fairy.
I think I have some of that in me.
I think you do.
Especially if it's like a fucked up CGI version.
Yes. With like shoulders too big.
I want her to
Cheeks
win
too
an
big.
Oscar so bad.
If she wants that, I want that.
Yeah. I hope she's feeling better about red carpets. Okay, we
Closing
love you,
thoughts?
Kira. What'd you say?
I was going to just make sure you had the opportunity
Oh,
to
closing
close.
thoughts. I just love you, and I want to be you, and I want guys to think that they're having sex with you and they're having sex with me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna work on that. I'm gonna shave my legs, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
I shaved mine for the first time in a while the other day.
Do you like shaving your legs?
Great question. I don't. I prefer to have them hairy.
Okay. I've never shaved mine, but I was thinking of doing it
Oh my god.
in like
All
a
right.
sissy way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next episode.
Okay, we love you, Babbles.
Babbles.
Bye, Babs.
Thanks for having me.
Love you, Ease. You're
Love
in
you.
heaven. Get well soon.
Thanks.
I hope your life gets better.
My knees gonna feel so well.
And
Cut.
I'm gonna talk about all the things that I wanna talk about. We'll just keep talking. We'll just keep talking. Just keep talking. Talking. For so long. Ow, we're babbling on. We're babbling
Babylon is created, produced, and edited by Hilton Dresden. The theme song is by Benny Cortoletta, featuring Callie Baker, and is produced by Benny Cortoletta and Jack Grouse. The artwork is by Hilton Dresden. Audio consultation from Kenzie Woodrow and Dallas Seeker. Special thanks to Alec Cohen, Natalie Rotter-Waitman, Molly Montgomery, Nick Krause, and to everyone who has subscribed to Babbling on the Substack and refused to shut the fuck up.